guys, as I have informed with you guys, today we'll have to do a project in Unit 7 with the topic about mass media. And for the first part of our discussion today, I would like to introduce to you a video about the evolution of mass media. So let's watch.
Interesting video. I didn't know mass media had changed so much over time.
Yeah, from newspaper and radio to television, and now everything going digital is kind of amazing.
Totally. And I think the most surprising part was how quickly podcasts became popular. Like, they didn't even exist a few decades ago, but now they're actually everywhere. That also reminds me I have been thinking a lot about TV news and podcasts lately.
Oh, why told too?
Because they're both common forms of mass media, but they work in very different ways, and each one has its own pros and cons. So I think it might be fun to compare them.
That's a good idea. I listen to podcasts sometimes, but I still watch the news on TV with my parents.
So let's break it down. And first, what are they?
TV news is the more traditional one. It's usually sold on national or local TV channels with reporters, video footage, and often live coverage.
And podcasts are more like audio, so you can listen to on your phone or computer, right?
Exactly.
You can stream them or download them, and it can be about almost anything: news, culture, interviews, personal stories. Some are made by professionals, but others are done by ordinary people with interesting ideas. That's part of what makes them so unique.
So, how are they similar?
Both are used to inform, educate, and entertain audiences. They can cover similar topics like politics, science, current events, but the way they deliver the information is different. That's where the real contrast begins.
Right? Like TV news has visual, but podcasts don't.
Yes, that is one of the biggest differences. TV news use both sound and images.
So viewers can actually see what's happening. For example, in a natural disaster, we can see the damage or the rescue teams. That makes it more real and sometimes more emotional.
While podcasts are just audio, so you really have to focus on listening.
That's true, but it also makes them more flexible.
You can listen to podcasts while cooking, exercising, or even commuting. You don't have to sit in front of a screen. That kind of convenience is a huge advantage in today's busy world.
I like that part too. And more podcasts are free and easy to accept.
Absolutely. And another thing is depth. Like TV news is usually short and fast-paced. They move quickly from one story to another, and sometimes they do not go into enough detail.
But podcasts often spend 30 or 60 minutes on a single topic. You get more background, more context, and sometimes interviews with experts.
Good point.
TV news is usually made by trained journalists. and they have to follow certain rule and ethic. So yes, it often seen as more credible.
So is that a disadvantage of podcast?
It can be, since anyone can make a podcast, so the quality and the accuracy vary a lot.
Sometimes it's hard to know if you are hearing is really true. Also, because there are no visual, it can be harder to stay focused or understand complex topics.
Yes, that's another difference. Podcasts are on demand, while TV news is often scheduled or live. And some people find TV news is too negative or stressful because it mainly focuses on crime, disaster, and political problems.
Yeah, my parents always say the news is full of bad stuff.
That's why many people prefer podcasts. They can choose something more inspiring and uplifting. And if we are talking about future, I honestly think that podcasts will become even more popular.
That makes sense, but I don't think TV news will disappear. It's still useful in emergency or when big things happen.
I agree, it's still important for official information, but I think it will have to adapt. Like they will have to be more digital, more interactive, and offer more shorter clips online.
So is that a disadvantage of podcast?
Exactly.
Well said, Dương. Look like you have told a lot about this.
Yeah, I think the video inspired me a lot.